Hi.
You're welcome to.
Yeah, that's all right. How did the project come your way?
Well, I directed a movie called Kissing Jessica Stein, which came out a couple of years ago, and Reese saw it, and she liked it, and she called me up and invited me to tea, and we went to tea at the Chateau Montmartre, and she said, "I liked your movie, and I'd like to work with you." And at the time, there was no Legally Blonde 2, on the table or anything. So I didn't know what that meant exactly. I was just sort of fantastically excited that, Reese Witherspoon, who I had been a fan of her work since seeing Freeway in 1992, and I was thrilled, but I didn't know how it was going to play itself out. And then this movie came along, and I loved the character. She's fearlessly pink. She, champions what she believes in the world, and is just a hero and a great role model for kids and world leaders. And I thought, wow, this seems like a great project.
Was Legally Blonde out yet when you had a meeting with her? Had she already done that?
Yes.
Was it released as
yes.
well? Okay, so she already had, that was already a known hit. And
yeah.
Because, the sequel, she was surprised that the first one took off and came together like it did.
Uh-huh.
Now this one's more or less, it's a bigger movie as far as budget and whatnot because of the first.
Yeah.
That was a smaller one. But I don't know if it was bigger, right? I mean, it was as a production.
Yeah, I think the idea was to keep the two movies basically the same size, but in reality, this was a bigger movie. I mean, it's in every way. Harvard, is now Washington D.C., which is a whole other world, and a very large world and one we all know. So we had to deliver on that level. And then there are just some scenes in the movie that are just massive. So
yeah,
there was a lot. There was a lot to do.
And this time, Sally Field's on board.
Sally Field, Bob Newhart, Regina King, Jennifer Coolidge is back as Paulette.
The original cast
yeah.
is back.
Luke Wilson.
But she did a really great job, I thought, Sally Field.
Didn't she?
Yeah, it was just...
She plays the corrupt congresswoman who, is sort of Elle Woods gone wrong in a way. I mean, she actually says at one point in the story, she's introducing Elle to her office, and she says, "This is Elle Woods, basically me, when I first came to D.C." So, that's kind of the setup, and then Elle eventually, challenges her on her corruption.
How far along was the story, the script, or when you took...
I read something that was pretty well developed. I mean, when I found the script, it was was set in Washington. It was she was going to save Bruiser's mom, and the whole animal testing thread was already in there. And I was excited, about the whole political nature of the story. And I thought this is fun and sort of hilarious. And a lot of really really funny scenes. This is a no-brainer. I'm going to do this movie.
Well, there's a lot. Well, obviously you saw the first one, so maybe you didn't.
I did.
Why,
I did.
Yeah. Now, what do you think is? There's a lot of evolution to what happens in the first movie to what's going on in the second. There's more commentary, I think. Or,
I mean, for me, the character is still somebody who everyone underestimates. Is still, a woman in a man's world who is making her way, and through her own unique brand of individualism, fighting her way sort of, to the top. And it's really fun to see her do it. So, I think that same kind of hero path that we enjoyed so much in seeing in the first movie is there in spades in this new developed second installment.
And it looks like there's room for even a third installment.
There is, yeah. I mean, a sort of Elle Woods running the world kind of thing. I mean, what if she were president of the United Nations or of the United States even,
Yeah.
living in the pink house?
Do you talk about that just theoretically? What could be? That's what's come up. Living in the pink house. Yeah, that's fine.
Living in the pink house.
She should paint the house.
That's
a good.
She'd be the first blonde woman in the pink house. I think, yeah. I mean, to a certain extent, we set it up. I mean, with that little sort of nod at the end of the movie, but I think it's a ways away. You'll have to, and certainly it can't be done without Reese, so it'll be her call.
Right. And we've wrapped.
Okay.
Nice to meet you.
Pleasure. Nice to meet you too.
I'm a friend of your production.